Ladies and gents, hello and welcome. My name, of course, is Owen Potato, and this is something a little bit different. Today, we're going to be talking about the recently announced expansion for Hearts of Iron 4, which I am super stoked about. This is the Together for Victory DLC, which has an unannounced release date at the time of recording this, and this is a piece of DLC that is centered around the Commonwealth. I think we're going to watch the trailer first, and then we can talk a little bit about exactly what has been announced so far. But it looks good. It looks good. Let's have a watch.
There had not been a time in recent memory when any had challenged the collective might of the Commonwealth. But as conflict engulfed the world, our enemies were foolish enough to bring aggression to our coastline. And as Japanese bombs fell on our shores, the Commonwealth was already in motion to defend her people. And when we strike back, we shall do so as a united front, with allies by our side. And together, we shall find victory!
Alright. Looks good, right? A little bit of a short trailer. Nothing, nothing crazy there. No, like, oh my goodness, this is not going to be a war game anymore. There's no crazy announcement like that. So the link in the description of the video leads us to this page on paradoxplaza.com, and this details some of the features that are going to be in. And first of all is the new national focus trees and events for Canada, Australia, New Zealand, India, and South Africa. So all of the countries of the Commonwealth are getting a brand new focus tree that is going to be completely different from the basic one, because I think all of these ones currently have the basic ones. I don't think any of them even have anything different apart from the basic ones. Yeah, which to be honest surprised me how it launched. That wasn't the case, but I guess, you know, that's kind of cool. I actually think that this is going to make a pretty darn big difference, but this is probably the least interesting aspect of exactly what is on this list. Okay, an alternate historical path. That should be two words, I feel. Like, path is definitely not a... Okay. Alternative historical path for each of the dominions, with options to stay loyal to Great Britain or forge a new, more independent destiny. This is the big one for me. This is the really big one, because currently, you know, it's expected. If you play a game of Hearts of Iron, you're never going to get into a position where Canada is rebelling against their master overlord, Great Britain. Australia is never going to, rebel against Great Britain. India, for example, which is potentially one of the most, at the time, volatile places. If history had gone rather differently, then India could have become independent long before it did in 1950 something, whenever it did. So it's really great that that this is finally going to be modeling some of the realistic nature of the discontent towards Great Britain in this DLC. So this is like a really big thing. If Canada, New Zealand, Australia, India, whatever, South Africa, if they can get away from the United Kingdom, then that is going to be huge. However, that could also be a crazy point of balance, and very difficult if you're playing as the Allies and you don't have Canada, Australia. If you don't have the Commonwealth on your side, then that's a huge swing. I mean, Britain isn't great because of the number of troops that it can raise. Yes, it can raise a couple, but it's great because it's got these cornerstones behind it, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, India, and South Africa. So it's really going to be difficult to balance this, I feel. And if it's too easy for the AI to suddenly just, get away from Britain, then that might cause some balance issues. But I think that this is really cool, and it's going to allow players to play a whole bunch of different new countries. So I'm really liking this. New autonomy system giving subject states degrees of independence from a foreign master. Okay, now this is obviously in relation to the Commonwealth, but I'm wondering if this is going to be applied across the board, right? Because that could potentially mean a desire to you know, travel towards shorter wars, because currently what happens is in Hearts of Iron, you will inevitably get dragged into a world war. It's just inevitable, right? It's just gonna happen. Now, I wonder if that's sort of a little bit of an admittance that, yes, you know, there is going to be a great war, but at the same time, maybe there's going to be some shorter wars that happen as well. And if so, if you can, you know, in a sense, vassalize a state, and I'm thinking that this might be some sort of a way to, you know, independently vassalize through a shorter war a state, and that would be really, really interesting if that was the case. Perhaps I'm reading into this wrong, and this is purely a mechanic that is only going to apply to Commonwealth countries, and specifically to Great Britain, who is going to be the master of those Commonwealth countries. But I'm really hoping that this is going to be a feature that is rolled out to other states, so that they too can become masters of their own countries, rather like EU4. I think that would be a really, really, really interesting mechanic. Okay, changes to Lend-Lease allow you to ask your allies to send you desperately needed equipment. Again, I feel that this could be abused if it's not done correctly, but I think that there's a lot of potential here. The Lend-Lease feature is just one of those features that just isn't a big deal. Like, it's just not. Like, sometimes you can do it for fun if you want to, you know, prop up your allies or something, but your allies would never do it to you, and it's absolutely great that the AI is actually going to be giving you equipment. I think it works better if the AI just gives you equipment rather than just, you know, at this, you know, at release when the game decided to just like offer you thousands and thousands and thousands of units. If they're more willing to give you equipment, I see that could be great. However, if you do end up getting so much equipment that it's just not even worth you manufacturing any of it, is that something that needs to be changed? I don't know. If the game ever gets to a point where, you know, you can survive by the AI just giving you a whole bunch of equipment, that's probably not great. But then again, I suppose that you would run into the problems of having outdated equipment if your allies are behind you technologically. So I guess we'll have to wait and see how this is implemented. I'm not so sure that it's going to be great, but it's going to be interesting, that's for sure. I hope that it's great. I really, really do. But I'm not so sure that it's going to be perfectly executed. I would say that I'm least excited about this change that has so far been announced, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. A spearhead battle plan command allowing more control over grand encirclements and punching through enemy lines. I do not know what this means. I mean, I know what a spearhead battle plan is, you know, having a point and pushing through enemy lines, but I do not know how this is going to be implemented, and I think that this is something that we can only see when the game is actually released the patch, which I'm definitely going to be getting, and I'm definitely going to be playing for you guys, so definitely stay tuned for that. But yeah, I don't really understand how this is going to work. Hopefully more customization options to the battle plan system, which is honestly one of the best systems in grand strategy games today. I really, really like it, how you give it just general commands and you don't have to micromanage your troops, but you get the option to micromanage your troops. It's a hugely fantastic system at the heart of this game, and I really, really, really do like it. And finally, technology sharing will allow Commonwealth nations to quickly catch up with British assistance. Yeah, nothing huge here, but again, really, really, really nice, and will make a very, very, very interesting change, because suddenly it's going to be great fun to play as either Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the Raj, or India, or South Africa. It's going to be really, really interesting to play, because as a player, you'll have to balance, you know, your commitment to the British Empire. You know, you'll have to come to the aid of Britain in any wars that they enter into. However, you'll also get the added bonus of getting shit tons of technological progress from British assistance. So again, as a player, you're going to have to balance the pros and cons of staying loyal to Britain. So overall, I think that this is actually going to make a huge change to the game. I'm really, really, really excited. Really, really, really excited for this expansion, and I'm I'm gonna play it for absolutely certain. Ladies and gents, thank you very, very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this, then by all means, give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more of this sort of stuff in the future. And comment down below. Tell me if you enjoyed this. If you didn't enjoy it, let me know. I'm very, very interested to hear from you. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.